family, duty, honor. These are the words of House Tully, but when Brendan Tully returned home from the War of the Ninepenny Kings and was told his brother had arranged a suitable marriage, he refused. He had just killed a good many men and wasn't ready to be told who and when to wed. He and his brother quarreled over this for years. Hoster called him the black sheep of his family, in which he replied, "No, brother, our sigil is the trout. That would make me the Blackfish." This was more than just him being rebellious. The Blackfish is gay, and he has absolutely no interest in marrying any women ever. While he was away at war, the Blackfish fell in love with John Arryn. John Arryn was Lord of the Vale and was married 3 times, the third being to Liza Tully, Brendan's niece. This was a farce and a cover that worked out for all involved. Liza's been in love with her father's ward, Peter Baelish, for years. The problem was, Peter was in love with her older sister, Catelyn. Catelyn was betrothed to Brandon Stark, the heir to Winterfell. The night Peter heard Catelyn was betrothed to Brandon, he got wasted and wandered into her room. He made love and cried out Cat, her nickname, before passing out. We later find out it wasn't Catelyn at all he was with, but her little sister Liza. It's unclear if he was too drunk and wandered into the wrong room, or if Liza set it all up and snuck into Catelyn's room. Peter had read all the books and heard all the stories about true love always winning out, so he challenged Brandon to a duel. Brandon beat him soundly and would have killed him if not for Catelyn begging him not to. As with many girls, Liza became even more infatuated with the man who deflowered her, and would bend to his every whim, always obeying without question. She was also pregnant with his child. Peter thought he could get with Catelyn after Brandon left, abruptly hearing his sister had been abducted by Rhaegar Targaryen. When Brandon arrived at King's Landing, demanding the prince to answer for his crime, he and his father were killed by the Mad King. The Mad King then sent word to the Vale for Jon Arryn to send his wards, Ned Stark and Robert Baratheon, to him. Instead, Jon sent them back to their castles to raise their banners, and thus ensued Robert's Rebellion. Liza's marriage to Jon Arryn was made in haste, not for love, but for swords. Jon was actually older than Liza's father. His previous 2 marriages had left him heirless, so once Lord Hoster found out Liza was pregnant with Peter's child, he sent Littlefinger away and slipped Liza Moontea to abort the baby. For the wars to come, Jon Arryn needed swords for his cause and a known fertile woman to give him an heir. I believe it was the Blackfish whispering in his brother's ear to set up this marriage. It worked out for all involved. He could be with his lover, Jon Arryn, and Liza, who some would see as soiled, could still be married to an honorable house, and she's known to be fertile, so therefore she would be able to give Jon an heir. The Tully forces, joined with the Knights of the Vale and the Northmen, would be a formidable force, able to overthrow the king's army, and they did. It would seem the Moontea Hoster gave his daughter Liza messed up her insides, for she had 5 miscarriages before giving Jon a son. But were they just miscarriages, or was Littlefinger telling her to take Moontea every time Jon got her with child? But was Jon really getting her pregnant, or was it Littlefinger just doing what he had to do to keep Liza under his thumb and keeping her sprung hook, line, and sinker? Once at King's Landing, Liza talked Jon into bringing Littlefinger in as Master of Coin. Littlefinger used Liza to climb the ranks and play the game. Then when the time was right, it was Littlefinger who got Liza pregnant to further his grand scheme. All the Moontea really had messed up her insides, and this is why Sweet Robin is born so sickly. Shortly after Robin is born, Littlefinger tells Liza to poison her husband and write her sister, blaming it on the Lannisters. She does so and moves back to the Eyrie, where her uncle, Jon's true love, awaits her in mourning. The Blackfish is now living at the Eyrie as Knight of the Gate, so as to be closer to Jon without raising any suspicions. Jon Arryn was an old man. He had no heirs from 3 different wives and no bastards, yet somehow he magically all of a sudden got Liza pregnant 5 times? Jon Arryn was impotent, and he was unable to have children. He supposedly had 1 son who died while he was away at the Battle of the Bells, but I don't think that was his son, and people knew it. That's why he was killed, so a child that wasn't really his would never become Lord of the Vale. When Catelyn arrives with Tyrion to the Eyrie, it is the somber Blackfish that meets her. He's still in mourning for his lover, and tells Cat that Liza grows more unstable every day. While at the Eyrie, they receive a letter that Hoster Tully is dying. Catelyn decides to leave and see her father one last time before he dies. Blackfish says he'll accompany her back to the river run. Liza forbids it, but he tells her to jump in a lake. His lover is dead and gone, so there's really no reason for him to stay. He wants to reconcile with his brother before he dies. When Jon Arryn was dying, he kept repeating, "The seed is strong, the seed is strong," and while Robin is sweet, he is in no way strong. He was trying to say that Robin is not his son. Littlefinger, knowing Robin is his son, continues to build upon his grand scheme to take over the entire kingdom. This is why even after being named Lord of Harrenhal, he still marries Liza, so he can get close and kill her, thus becoming in charge and ward of the Warden of the East, Sweet Robin. So now Littlefinger is Lord of Harrenhal and ward of the Warden of the East. He tried to marry Sansa off to Ramsay, thinking he could control a lackwit bastard and a naive Sansa. He definitely knew how psychotic Ramsay was and banked on him killing Roose. This would give him the east and the north. Remember, it's the Tyrells who rule the south, and he helped them kill Joffrey, so they're tight. The only thing left would be the west, and he knows the gold mines have already dried up there, so there's really no hurry to get there. Once he ruled the north and the south, and also the east, the west would have no choice but to fall in line. In the Vale, Littlefinger's buying up all the grain and seed, not letting anyone from there sell it, no matter how much they're being offered. Littlefinger's a big picture player and knows winter is coming. He will not only have one of the largest, well-rested forces in Westeros, but will be the best supplied as well. He's also bringing back old tapestries from King's Landing. The tapestries told a story back then, and I believe Littlefinger is using them to remind and plant seeds in the mind of the Lords of the Vale for the wars to come. I say wars because he knows not only about the disputes in Westeros, but that Dany is coming. Littlefinger knows no army has ever breached the Bloody Gate, and Harrenhal has the thickest walls in the kingdom. To Littlefinger, these are the two best fortified and safest places in the realm. But will it be enough to keep out the Whites? In truth, it won't matter, and all will be for naught, because one day Sweet Robin will just get bored and decide to make the little man fly. So as you see, it's not just Loras and the Red Viper, it's also the Blackfish, and it seems that all three of them seem to be three of the best warriors in the show. So I guess they're saying that gay men are just badass fighters in the world of Westeros. So yeah, if you like how I did this, I'm just goofing around. Hope you had a good time watching it. If you like it, go ahead and thumbs up it. And if you want, go ahead and subscribe and you'll be the first to know when I make another video. So stay tuned for the next one, and until next time, game on.